Hey guys, how we doing today? Remember this truck? Yes, this is the Kenworth W900 with the 72-inch studio sleeper and the long stacks that I never really took the time to name. Well, came up with the name for her, Rhiannon. That's what I affectionately call her now. And we're taking a load from Las Vegas, Nevada to Kingman, Arizona. This game has been updated, so some mods may not work, some mods still work. I'm sure you see the UPS trailers and the FedEx trailers and stuff. We're taking tableware from this Walmart in Arizona. Now, first things first, let's hop into the cab. I have the park and brake on, so let's deploy the park and brake first. I love those sounds. Alright, that is the trailer brake that's going down, so trailer brake's on. Let's put her in first and see how much trailer pull we get. Okay. Brakes are working here. So, topic of this video, if you're wondering what a legacy drive is, that's where I drive a truck that I've had for a good while but haven't driven in a good while. So, Rhiannon's a legacy drive. I took this truck, some of you guys who've been following this channel, or maybe you watched some of the older videos, I took this truck from a regular W900 day / duty cab, and I put a 72-inch sleeper on it. I did a lot of mods to it. 72-inch sleeper, stacks, larger fuel tanks, so that way I had to have more fuel and could travel further. The only problem is with the legacy drives, I sometimes forget how big the trucks really are. So I'm going to see where my trailer is in relation to... Okay. I'm hanging myself up on that sign. Okay. So go like that and we should be fine. So, to the topic of this video, I'm a redneck. Now, I know some of you guys think, okay, he's joking, he can't be serious. What's this redneck? You know, what's his criteria for a redneck? Now, some of you probably remember back in the day, Jeff Foxworthy, how he always had those jokes with the, you know you're a redneck when? Well, that's not what I mean. You know, I don't fit any of those criteria. However, I was talking to my mom, and she said I kind of show some redneck tendencies. And her list of criteria were a few things. You know, one thing I think she was kind of joking about was I like beer. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people who like beer who aren't rednecks, let's be honest, you know. I'm sure you guys have probably seen your parents, or you yourself, if you're old enough, have drank a beer here or there, and you might like it. You know, I prefer it over hard liquor. However, I do drink a little vodka here. You know, I drink a little bit. I'm not an alcoholic. I've never had a hangover, and I've never been super drunk. I've never driven drunk. So now that that's out of the way, what it is you're a redneck when her other two pieces of criteria that she listed off, and she probably had a couple more, but I talked to her when she was kind of distracted. Her two pieces of criteria were, you know, I'm proud of my working class roots. You know, I'm proud that I'm working class. I have an admiration for the South. And, you know, I think what she could have said to loosen that up a little bit, because you can live in the North and be a redneck. I think what it is, to me, you're a redneck if you are working class, you're proud of being working class, yeah, you want to do better, but where you are isn't horrible. And if you love rural areas. Because, I mean, you know, there's Pennsylvania rednecks, guys, and Pennsylvania is a northern state. So, heck, there's Canadian rednecks in my book. And you don't get more north. You really can't get more north. You really can't get more north than Canada. I mean, seriously. So, now I've always, I haven't always been a redneck. I've always slightly shown pride in my working classness, but I haven't always been working class. When I was young, my family, my mom worked for DuPont, which was a Fortune 500 company in Delaware. But then again, almost everybody who had a professional job worked at DuPont in Delaware. Almost everybody worked at one point or another at DuPont if you lived in Delaware. And my dad worked for Amtrak Railroad. I'm sure I've said this before. But when I was a kid, I always noticed there was something that separated me from the people in my school. I think I told you guys in the previous video. If you're new, I'll tell it again. I went to a Catholic school, which is a private school, where you had to pay a good amount of money to go to this school. And I noticed something. The kids were real into money, how much their parents made, and they'd always claim that, I've got this much, I've got that much. My mom drives this, my dad drives this. My mom works for this, my dad works for there. Where me, it was like, my mom works for DuPont, my dad works for Amtrak, we're divorced. My mom is divorced, which in a Catholic school is like, I swear, those kids, the good Catholics that they are, they love to judge the heck out of you. But anyway, what I noticed was they had so much pride in brands and materialistic things, We had these things called dress down days or out of uniform days where you didn't have to wear your school uniform. And they would come in wearing the Abercrombie & Finch or American Eagle or Hollister. Well, Hollister was kind of judged because that was like the lowest of the designer brands. It would go in this hierarchy. Hollister at the bottom, Aeropostale in the middle, American Eagle kind of towards the second to top, and then Abercrombie and Finch. Which, you like what you like, but these kids are the kids who would talk about this shirt cost $80 and these shorts cost $55. Where I'd be the guy who'd go to Foreman Mills. If y'all don't know what Foreman Mills is, you probably don't live in too small of a town. The Foreman Mills, by where I used to go, was actually in the city part, the city of Wilmington, the wonderful city of Wilmington, which is so small, it's got the nickname Wilmingtown. So, Foreman Mills is like a discount clothier. So, mostly focusing on urban brands. So, a little bit of FUBU, which I never wore. Karl Kani, which I proudly wear. I liked Foreman Mills because they'd get big and tall sizes, and I'm a big and tall guy. So, I'd go in there in my Foreman Mills clothes, or even my Walmart clothes. I'd have like Wrangler jeans, and I had my favorite shirt was this Myrtle Beach shirt for Bike Week of 2003 that my sister got me because I was real big into Harley Davidson when I was younger. I love motorcycles still to this day. But they looked at me like I was, like out of place. And you know what? At the end of the day, maybe I was out of place. I honestly don't care, but that was the thing. I always noticed that there was a discrepancy between me and them. And, they always wanted to be higher class or wealthy, what have you, whatever you put in the hierarchy of your socioeconomic status pyramid. And there was always me. I was happy being working class or living working class. Because the thing I noticed about some people who were working class, like historically, trailer parks or manufactured home communities, as people like to refer to them as. I mean, I know I live in a nice one from what you guys have said and what you guys look at, but historically, manufactured home communities have always been for working class people. And don't get me wrong, you have to live where you have to live. And also, some of the people who live in this neighborhood that I live in currently, we live here by choice. But some of the people who live where I live are actually doing really good financially. they're financially stable. The person from me 3 doors down has a 2012 Audi A4 and one of the redesigned Dodge Dakotas. Now, that's somebody who's doing well. There's another person who lives a good ways down, has a Roush Mustang. And I mean a special edition Roush Mustang. And there's other people here who've got older cars. There's a guy who rolls a 2008 Mercury Grand Marquis. I'm sure you've seen the Redneck Ingenuity video where it's the guy who has the Buick Regal, the Grandma Buick Regal, with the broken window, so he used some, I want to say saran wrap and wrapped up his window, and has a smoker window, a little square rectangular vent so he can stick his cigarette out and ash it out. But, yeah, I gotta pull in for a wait stop. But, you know, you do have to live where you gotta live. But one thing I want to say for most of you guys, find a place that you can enjoy where you live. It's not worth it. You know, maybe the place is that you can afford, or the places that you can live comfortably are, you know, a little dangerous. I understand if you want to spend a little bit of extra money to be in a place that's a little safer. I understand that completely. But, you know, don't go and live somewhere because well, actually, the whole thing, I was talking to my mom about this, you know. Don't let somebody tell you how to live. Don't let somebody tell you what you should or shouldn't do. At the end of the day, you are your final decider. You're the person, and your family are the people that you need to please. And I'm speeding right out of the gate with this place. Oh boy. You know? Don't let anybody tell you what you can and cannot do. I mean, of course, there's the government. They tell me I can't drive, so I don't drive. But they didn't tell me I can't play a driving simulator, so I found a way around that. You know, they told me I can't. They never told me I can't dream about driving semi-trucks. So. But also, too, another thing about being a redneck, what separates a redneck from every other working class person, is the fact that they really could care less about your opinion, honestly. I mean, there's people who have told me that Claymont, where I used to live, which is a suburb, was so ghetto. And, you know, I didn't really see it as that. I'll tell you what the houses were like. You had pretty much, you had contemporary post-World War II houses, like houses that went up in the 50s. They were little cracker box houses. You know, nothing too cookie cutter style, nothing too aesthetically pleasing. And you had some houses that looked like they were from the Brady Bunch. But you had a yard, it was kind of a suburb, you weren't living on a street or a main road. So those people who said Claymont was ghetto, the funny thing was they said it right in front of me, and I said, well, I live in Claymont, I live in Ashbourne Hills. What's so ghetto about Ashbourne, you know, what's so ghetto about there? And then they kind of just, I'll tell you what this one girl did. All she did was kind of like smile, and then she shut right up. Because she knew. She was saying something stupid. Now, this girl didn't go on to like me, and found out this girl ends up working at a chain restaurant that some of you guys may have gone to, and I used to frequent quite often. She works at Hooters. I'm not saying that I wish this on her. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm not passing judgment. I'm just saying, consider the source. This is a person who thought I was ghetto because of where I lived, and yet she's working at a chain that's really not a highbrow place of entertainment. It'd be different if she was working at TGI Fridays or any other restaurant chain, but, you know, and again, you have to work to support yourself, so maybe the best place she could work at is Hooters. I don't know. Maybe that's the only place that wanted to hire her. Still, I don't know. But, again, I didn't really let her sit there and berate me because, you know, she said Claymont was ghetto. I honestly didn't care. I was living where I lived. I enjoyed where I lived. I had friends. I had sidewalks. I had a front yard. I had a back yard. I have a front yard now. I have a backyard now. I got a friend here, you know, and it's beautiful. I mean, I'm doing more things here than I used to do in my youth. You know, there's just been a whole lot of opportunity for me. There's just been a whole lot of things going on for me down here in the South. But getting back to, you know, what separates a redneck from every other Southern gentleman, it's mostly the working class, being working class, and the attitude that they share. You know? It's the whole, I know who I am, I know what I'm doing, I'm not really going to let anybody talk me into anything. So, and honestly, I'm not really that easy to talk. I'm not really that gullible, I'm not easily led. You know? I think about a bunch of things. I always consider the source. I always try to, you know, go with my best effort. I always consider what's going on. I always try to look at both sides of the field. And I have my flashers on. Engine brake time. Brake. We stalled her. Clutch and brake. But yeah, so that's pretty much what makes a redneck. It's the fact that you have an appreciation for the rural areas, you're working class, and also, you don't care that you're working class. You take pride in who you are. So everybody in a rural area who's working class could be a redneck. It's not something exclusive, and it's not a slur. And don't let anybody ever tell you it's a slur. I mean, I take pride in it. Because not a lot of people could go through what I went through in my life and come out as great as I could. That's how I always see it. Do I think I'm better than anybody? No, not really. You know, I'm not really here to have a competition with everybody else. I'm here to have a competition with myself. I'm my only competition right now. Well, that and the shifter. But, hey, sometimes, guys, I forget that there's a splitter on here. I'm sure y'all guys picked that up. But, so, we've been in Arizona. This is Kingman right now. We're going to another Walmart to go drop off our tableware. I just wish Rhiannon was a little bit better on the curbs. But I can't complain. Rhiannon's a good truck. Now, if you're wondering how I came up with the name Rhiannon, I've been listening to a lot of Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks recently, so clown me in the comments if you feel you want to, Because I can laugh at myself, guys. I'll make a joke out of it. But you know, Stevie Nicks' story about Rhiannon, it's based on a fairy tale of a Welsh witch. And I actually did have to read something like that for women's studies. And the funny thing was, as I got done reading that book, my mom came in. My mom was driving through the neighborhood with her windows down. And guess what was on the radio station? Guess what was on the radio? Could it be Rhiannon? If you guessed Rhiannon, you are correct. Tell them what we've won. Tell them what they've won, Jimmy. You've won nothing! But anyway, so that's how I came up with the name with Rhiannon. Also, too, there's a little bit of sentiment there. That was one of the first songs I heard. I think the first time, if I remember correctly, listening to Fleetwood Mac, it was a rock block. So it was all Fleetwood Mac songs. So Rhiannon, Landslides was one that always came in and out of my life. Sarah is one that I listen to a lot. Seven Wonders, Everywhere. A lot of stuff off of Fleetwood Mac's Rumors album. Because, A, that was one of their bigger albums. I also heard Tusk was one of their bigger albums, but honestly, to tell you the truth, I probably couldn't name anything off of Tusk. So. Also, too, I'm not sure if you guys know this about me, because I have done a video about it. I collect a lot of vinyl records, and I listen to a lot of vinyl records. So, the Fleetwood Mac albums that I have, that I've actually physically bought instead of downloaded, are on vinyl. They're 33 1/3 RPM vinyl, which is really nice. They're 12-inch records. Some of them are scratched up. Rumors actually was a funny thing. They had a sealed copy of Rumors, the 25th anniversary, for $20, and they had the regular version of Rumors in the discount bin, and I'm nowhere near that spot. I'm actually going to hop out. They had Rumors, the full version, in the budget bin, so I got it for about $3.95, $4. Can't beat that with a stick. And I listened to it a lot. Yeah, it's a little scratched up, but hey, at least you can still get through it. It doesn't skip, it's just there's a little scratch in it, so some of the songs don't come out to the greatest they could be, but again, that's the thing I kind of expect with records. They're old. I know you can get a bunch of represses for like $20 a record, which to me, that's a tad bit expensive. You get them on 180 gram vinyl, which is, heavier vinyl, nicer quality vinyl, but, if you're listening to a song that was made in 1973, I think it should sound the way it did in 1973. But those are just my opinions, and that's probably another reason why I'm considered a redneck. I like the old things, You can give me a nice, big, new, luxurious Cadillac, I'll still prefer my 76 Coupe de Ville. You can give me a 2015 Ford F100 or F-150, I will still go back and harken back to the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 90s F-150, especially the short bed Lariat, the 80s F-150 short bed Lariat, the 70s F-100. But that's just the style I like, and I'm sure there's quite a few of you rednecks out there that watch me, that listen to me, that like my videos. Supercar Garage USA, thanks for hanging with me. I know you always comment on my videos. I know you watch these while you go out and do customs, and I'm going to try to do some more customs in your name, trucks and stuff. As soon as the holidays slow down, I'll go to Tractor Supply, buy me some more F-150s, and you guys are going to have to wait to see what I do with those. Well, I thank you for sticking around this long. See you guys in the next one. This was Legacy Drive Trucking Talk Thursday. I'm a redneck. There'll be a Freightliner Friday, probably. Just keep checking. If you like my videos and you never want to miss out, hit that subscribe button. If you want to know every time I upload a video, hit the little bell by the subscribe button. If you're on mobile, if you're on PC, it should be somewhere near there. I mostly do a lot of this stuff on mobile, so I really can't help you too much if you're a PC user. Well, alright guys, thanks for tuning in. See you in the next one.